Hey everyone, welcome to day 21 of 21 Days of NLP and Hypnotherapy. It's the final video. I'm so ecstatic and so excited for it to be the final. When I had the intuition kicked me in my spleen and said, "You've got to create this series," I was like, what? On top of everything else I have to do now, I have to do a series. This is going to be interesting. I'm really grateful that I've been able to do it, and that I followed through. It has been a bit of a task to manage everything, but hey, we've gotten there. We've gotten there to the end, and in preparation for my course and everything else that I've had to do, grateful that it's come to an end. And hey, I think and feel that it's important I continue to keep showing up in this way on some level. So I will be looking to see what I do next. But in the meantime, this is the last video. I wanted to go over how NLP and hypnotherapy assists me to be unstoppable. So I've already talked about meta programs. I've talked about the NLP communication model. I've talked about how you generalize, delete, distort down to 134,000 bits per second. Talked about state physiology and your behavior and the internal representations that are created. Talked about the unconscious mind, the conscious mind, the captain and the crew. We've gone into 10 types of beliefs needed for a business. We've talked about hypnotherapy as well. We've unpacked neuro-linguistic programming. We've done a lot, and now it's the finale. So I wanted to share with you 10 things that I believe are important in order for you to be unstoppable, and how NLP and hypnotherapy makes you unstoppable. So I've written a bit of a listy just in case I may just to keep me on track. And if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want to ask me more, if you want me to unpack another video in more depth, I'm happy to do that. Please let me know. If you want to private message me, you want to find out about the upcoming training August the 20th, please let me know, and I'll be happy to send you through a prospectus with all the details of the way in which you can connect and commit and dedicate the next 12 months to you becoming a coach, and not just a coach, but a successful, masterful coach who knows a lot about a lot of things, because I bring all my knowledge of physiology, and especially in relation to human development and health science, that aspect of the career that I've been in for over 27 years. And we bring that through under the guise of trauma as well. So that you can assist and help yourself and also your clients and your future clientele and specialties that you're going to be investing your time, energy, and money in moving forward. So, it's just not a program to, spend a lot of money. And it's not a lot of money. It's not a degree. You're not going to university. It's worthy of and should be, I believe, in all schools, but it's also worthy of the cost of the actual training, because it's so much more time involved than just a normal training. Like, there's so many more out there. I go into depth. I allow for you to spend 12 months with me with monthly master classes, and I do that for free. I don't get paid for it, but I'm committed to my signature being on your certificate, and also committed to you being the most phenomenal, amazing practitioner out there. So it's an investment of me into you as well. And I don't just want anyone to do the course. I just want people who are already in that realm, and or who are looking to upskill and are the right fit for the course because they want to do the work and not So much interested about the certificate. I mean, the certificate means nothing without the real certificate is the ability for you to know what you're doing, to understand the processes, to really care about people and wanting to and willing to help them. That is the most important thing rather than a piece of paper. So we don't aim for the piece of paper, although that is a wonderful aspect of it. It's more about the intention, integrity, honesty, being trustworthy, and having integrity in your work, your knowledge, your skills, and in your business. So let's get into it. Comment down below and hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and also let me know where you're coming in from. Now, I am a bit croaky with my voice. You just have to bear with me. I don't have a cough. It's more just, I think, the cold air and the weather, because otherwise I'm fine. So number 10, with 10 things I'm going to go through with you, how NLP and hypnotherapy makes you unstoppable. The first one is it changes your and increases your ability to manage your internal state. So as you're processing information, as it's filtering through, you have the ability to choose your state because you know how to now, and the internal representations or the pictures, the sounds, the things you're saying to yourself, your self-talk, your linguistics, you can change those so you can manage your internal state. So even if something external of yourself is happening that's quite stressful, it might create a bit of panic or hysteria around you. You have the ability to know how to manage yourself, manage your energy. Energetic hygiene, that's not NLP, that's just my little take on it, but manage your internal state. So important, makes you unstoppable. It also sets you apart as an authority figure and as a professional, or both personally and professionally. Number 2, your ability to manage how you feel inside, and remember the aspect of behavior, which is right at the end. You get to take responsibility and choose the way in which you behave based on the emotions that you're feeling inside. You can manage that as well. So say you're feeling angry, you might be picking up your children from school, or you might be, find yourself in a situation where you need to be an example to your children, and you know that if you allow the emotion of anger to take over, it could get quite unsafe and unruly, and you are able to manage yourself for a time that is more suiting and fitting for you to express that anger. I wouldn't say suppress it, repress it, hold it in, but I certainly would you would benefit to have the ability to manage how you feel inside so that you can get done the things that you need to do and then address it at a later time that's more appropriate. It's number 2. That makes you unstoppable. Number 3, it's great for you to stay and be resourceful in those states as well, and constantly ask and or be curious and find other ways of finding other resources, especially during a stressful or a perceived stressful time or an event that could be perceived or felt as stressful. You're able to stay resourceful and stand in your authority as the person who is choosing actively the behavior, the state, and the physiology that she would like to embody. Number 4, it gives you also a high degree of behavioral flexibility. I know we're kind of reiterating these things, but it really is a powerful state that you're in when you're able to manage and to have behavioral flexibility in difficult situations. At the airport, we were in the airplane, and I had met this lady. We were flying down to Melbourne, and she just was so amazing. Like, I just really loved her. And I was teaching her, we were just talking about stuff, as women do. We had a really great bond. And so I was teaching her this little mantra, which is the 5 fingers. You just tap on your 5 fingers. And if ever you feel a little bit overwhelmed, you can just click on them and you just say, peace be. Peace is within me now. Peace is within me now. Peace is within me now. And so we were doing this, peace is within me now. Peace is within me now. What was funny is there was a lady next to us who just wanted us to be quiet. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, why am I by these ladies? But we were annoying her because we're like, oh my gosh, like sharing little stories and little spiritual journeys and books that we found were phenomenal in our lives. And she was just rolling her eyes. She couldn't believe she got stuck with us because she was right on our pew. And right when I was teaching her this, we hit some turbulence in the air, and the plane started sort of bouncing around. And we were just like, oh, but we were already in our zone. And our circle that we had created, her and I, we were just in the ambience of, peace is within me now, peace is within me now. And immediately the seatbelt light went on, everyone jumped back in their chairs, people fell over, and people started screaming and crying, people started freaking out. And me and my friend were we just thought it was almost like we were in our own little bubble looking at everyone going, what? Why are they freaking out? Peace is within me now. Peace is within me now. And we were already doing it anyway. And what was funny was the lady that was next to us, she just started going, freaking out. And just as I do that, I can feel already this change and switch in her body. My goosies start up. And she was like, what is that thing? What is that thing? She leaned over to me and she said, please teach me now. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to live. And we're like, isn't she dear? Isn't she fun? Me and my friend. We're like, just a peace be within me. Peace. She was like, peace be within me. Was the funniest thing. And we just looked at each other and we just thought it was so funny. We thought everyone was funny because we were on our own vibe and in another world, but in that world. And so that's what I mean by you have the ability to have behavioral flexibility in a difficult situation. When other people are freaking out and you're in that space, you're able to choose differently and be so much more resourceful and have so many more resources at your fingertips because you're in that state already and you keep recycling that state as well. Because what happens is also in times when there's increased stress, the ability to cope decreases, and along with that, the ability to remain calm decreases. It just plummets, literally microseconds, and the ability to reach and find resources unconsciously stops. It shut off. You're not able to have access to what you would normally have in a calm state. So that's when memory shuts off. You can't remember. You don't even know your passcode. Like if you've been advanced by someone in the dark and you automatically forget your passcode or PIN code to get into your car, your house, your phone, to SOS. Like those are the things that happen when you're in such a stressed, high-stressed internal space, your resources cut off. So it's a survival tool as well to be able to stay expanded and have constant access to those resources. in your unconscious mind. But when that happens and calm plummets as well, it impacts also the way you communicate and the way you communicate to other people as well as yourself. And over time, that skill to communicate lessens the more you're stressed. So if you are in an environment in your job and there's constant stress and or strained relationships, that's going to continue until you change the picture, change the internal representation, do some bit of work, bit of chi, sending nice chi, zen through your internal system and the way in which you are processing, and you'll be able to change that and that outcome. Number 5, NLP can increase the speed in which you adapt and manage your state. So the speed in which you do something as well is very quick. It can be in literally 5 seconds. Number 6, it helps you become more influential and a more influential member of society in any group that you're a part of, both professionally and also personally. So because people trust people who are calm, who can problem solve, who can at any point in navigating uncertain times or uncertain areas in their life, leaning on someone that's stable or perceived to be stable, perceived to be calm, perceived to know what they're doing, is always going to create rapport with other people, and people are attracted to you. So it also it gives that level of authority or perceived authority to other people, and you become more influential as a business owner and as a leader as well. Number 7, you also get to model and reproduce excellence in any field. A beautiful story I read about was Andre Agassi, and he was playing Boris Becker, I think, in tennis at the time, and he kept losing his serves, I believe. So what he did was he used NLP, and what he would do, he watched over and over and hours of tape watching Boris Becker with all his other games. And what he found was when he went to serve the ball, he would do something with his face and his eyes. And so Andre Agassi picked up that when he would do that, he would hit the ball at a certain area on the court. And so he practiced and practiced. And when he went to play him, he never lost any of his games after that moving forward. And it was because of the programming and the way in which he watched Boris Becker and the using the NLP communication model, he was able to decipher that. And he did that, it didn't take him years to be able to beat him. It took him studying a couple of videos, and then after that, the rest is history. So NLP can increase the speed in which you adapt and manage your state as well. Number 7, NLP and hypnotherapy also help and assist you to model and reproduce excellence in any field. I believe I might have said that. Number 8, communication. Now, with communication, the whole NLP communication model, I'm not going to go through that. Go and watch videos, I think day 2 or 3, to see what that is about. But with that communication model, when we perceive the problem, and we have a problem or an issue, the problem is the way. So say we have a problem and we have an issue, and the way we perceive it is our truth, right? This is the issue with the whole, this is my truth. And it's important to always honor your truth, but not necessarily your truth is everyone else's truth. And so the problem with that is when you look at the NLP communication model, we delete, distort, and generalize based on our own perceived filters, our own filters. So say if I got 10 people, right, and I went to every single person, each of the 10, and I explained the exact same thing in the exact same way with the exact same delivery, tone, pitch, flexion of voice, even my hand and eye coordinations, I did everything the same 10 times, 10 different people. 99% of the time it's going to be perceived in 10 very different ways, because we all have different filters. We all have different life experiences. That's why in the same family with brothers and sisters, they can see they grew up in the same household, the same parents, but they all have a different interpretation of what happened. That's the whole issue with the way in which we perceive truth to be our truth. Our truth is not always everyone else's truth. And so we see that in the world today. So it can cause all sorts of unique outcomes if we communicate perfectly in that way to 10 different people. It will be perceived in 10 different ways. So that's how come communication is so important. And by us just understanding this distinction that everyone's going to see it differently already frees you up to understand that people are not going to see things your way. And if they understand that about you, then there can be more common ground. There can be more people who can unite and get along. There can be more understanding and compassion. And NLP and hypnotherapy assists you to be unstoppable in this way because you understand people more. You literally understand your parents more. You understand that what they had to go through, that's why they have that deletion, distortion, generalization. That's why their filters are the way they are. And then it's all good. You don't have to convince anyone or negotiate with anyone. And then it doesn't become a personal attack on you as to why they don't necessarily believe the same things you believe, and then that doesn't even have to come into the equation. The other thing with NLP and hypnotherapy is 96% of our communication is non-verbal feedback. So we communicate with 96% of not saying a thing. Non-verbal. Does that land with you? Like, how powerful is that? So the words that I'm saying and what I'm saying in terms of talking to someone, in terms of they ask me a question and I answer them back, I'm speaking more with what I don't say than what I do say. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? So that means that not only do we communicate verbally, but we communicate non-verbally through our body language, through tone of voice, through micro movements, the thousands of micro facial movements and expressions, and other signs and clues. So when you can master the way in which you communicate, then you'll be able to have a level of discipline and mastery in your life as well. And you just come across as a congruent being when you are living congruent, obviously, to the things in which you believe to be true. So my last one I have is number 10. So I'm going to read something out of my prospectus, just if I can find it. I just have it here because me reading this all out will not. So I'm just going to read a bit of my prospectus. If you would like a prospectus, let me know. I can send it to you. I have trainings August the 20th. I have another one in September. Um, I will be releasing dates on my website. My website's about to come out. So you'll be able to go there and just see all the information there on the website. Now, number 10, the way in which NLP and hypnotherapy helps you become unstoppable and be unstoppable. So when we look at our NLP communication model, this is just like the basic fundamentals, but it's so profound and changes lives, right? So in the Watson Wyatt study, they found that companies that communicate effectively to their teams are likely to have 50% below average staff turnover, which means people are likely more so to stick around. And in a Holmes report, they identify that 37 billion is lost each year to employees misunderstanding communication. $37 billion. And not to mention 57% of all projects fail through poor communication, according to itcortex.com. It's profound. It costs a lot of money to be miscommunicating. According to marshmeditation.co.uk, 65% of divorces are because of communication problems, with couples' inability to resolve issues at 43%. 70% of men blamed nagging and complaining, which caused the marriage to break down, while 65% felt there was a lack of appreciation for them from their spouse. It's huge, right? And the way in which they need and or want to receive that communication will be probably different to the way the person communicates their appreciation and or communicates with them, full stop, in a different way, because totally different internal representations. Similarly, the lack of validation of feelings and opinions was number one with women at 83%, followed by 56% who said their spouse talks too much about themselves. In the American Psychological Association, infidelity was found to be the cause of 20 to 40% of US divorces. That's almost 50%. So when it comes to looking at how you can be unstoppable with NLP and hypnotherapy, like it's profound how you can save your relationships if you want to, if you feel that it's valuable, if you feel like they're willing to do the work as well. It can save the relationship more so with yourself. You heal that, you heal everything. You heal your relationships, your business, your finances, your career, your spirituality, your parenting. You flip and turn everything on its head, literally changing the trajectory of your life. So with that, I personally believe, without a shadow of a doubt, if it was not for NLP and hypnotherapy, I would not be here today. I was blessed enough to have the foresight to say yes to myself, and there was circumstances around that which I won't get into, but by the grace of God, I was placed in the right situations with the right people at the right time and invested in myself and learned the skills. And even though I was having one of the best times and also the worst times of my life, I strongly believe that if it weren't for the architecture and the system of these two modalities, in the time that it took for me to know who I was, to absolutely collapse and forget who I was, and be in a really unhealthy environment for the space of a couple of years while I was tooling up, while I was learning how to find my voice, while I was returning back to my family to be in the safe arms and protection of my family and my close friends. for my daughter and myself. While all of that was happening, had I have not had NLP and hypnotherapy in my life at the time that I was suicidal and uh, filled with CPTSD daily and crying every day for about 3 months, almost 4 months, um, I don't know if I would still be here, like honestly. And it's not it's just a reality that at that time of feeling helpless and hopeless and not knowing who to turn to, not knowing who to trust, um, having so much betrayal and deception with people in my life at that time, I don't know if I would have been here. What I do know and can attribute to me being able to thrive, and also my daughter, and what transpired and how we were able to get out of that situation, and also how I was able to continue parenting her while I was building a business, while I was gaining, seeking knowledge, and still studying several things all at once, while I was still battling my health, you know, and also bringing in money. Like, it just, as I'm sharing, I just can't believe that I did it. But I know I did, because I am unstoppable. And the tools of NLP and hypnotherapy, um, I could never share it enough how lucky I am that I had them, that I was able to make the decisions I made, just knowing the basic foundational stuff that kept me alive, that made me see that there was a message that I was going to be bringing to the world, and to assist those 1 million women and children who I am here to help heal themselves and become unstoppable through building a successful online business, and through doing that simultaneously while doing their own inner work and healing and creating the beliefs that they get to upgrade and up level to, and um, invest in moving forward and dedicate themselves to. So, so grateful. Thank you for joining me for these 21 days. It has been my pleasure. I will see you on Monday. I am going to just take a little breather this weekend, but I definitely will be back with some more content that I'm happy to share. I don't know what that will be, but it will be something, because I've really enjoyed myself, and I've really been just able to witness my passion for this work on a bigger scale through doing this 21 series that I didn't even know would be part of what I learned. So thank you for joining me. Connect with me on any social media platform. Follow me. I will follow you. I'll be happy to cheerlead for you, watch from the sidelines and see you succeed, and see you grow, and see you expand in whatever avenue you choose to. I want more women to actualize their actual gifts and actual talents, to reclaim themselves, to step into their liberated, sovereign selves, and to no longer be apologetic, dim down, be too much. Just be all of you. I want you to be too much. I want you to speak up. I want you to be able to trust yourself and back yourself, and be resilient enough to keep showing up for yourself, regardless of what's happening outside. Just keep showing up, and I promise you, you will have the results that you want, one way or another, eventually, exactly as you design them and exactly as you call them in. This is me, Jocelyn of Knitted Ansket. It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.